because there's different methods we showed him how much achrayas you need. I think that's what he means, both, and whatever degree of achrayas you need according to what we showed. With such achrayas you have, you're over allowed. Ach ein lokin, but you're certainly not going to get malchus, because in this case, for sure, everybody agrees there's no malchus because the ein bo ma'isa. Now he says in betoch haPesach kana hachametz. So he's saying this actual chametz which he didn't own, and he was being over by Yirah, he went ahead and now purchased it. So he says, now are you going to say, and Rambam says if you buy chametz on Pesach, it's considered yesh b'maisa, you get malchus. So he wants to know, in this case, are you going to say, in zeh havi yesh b'maisa, k'imon dasa maisa? Do you say, well, now he did it, he has it al yidei maisa, so it's going to be allowed yesh b'maisa, according to Rambam, he should get malchus. Oh, Dilma, or do you say, k'imon delav hazeh over mikvar, he was being over anyway. Before he purchased it, he was being over by Yirah because he was coming to kibbul of achrayas. The mice ain't no more cloud. The mice isn't making him over by Yirah any more than before. B'halav the over beloza, in the lab he was being over beloza, lo ave mice, and that lab wasn't a mice. Dain osa cloud balav. That basically he just had chametz, which he's kibbul achrayas. He didn't do any mice on Pesach or anything with it, so he wasn't going to get malchus. So he was being over by Yirah. So now he's saying, if you do a maisa to buy it, are you going to say, since now he has it ayadei maisa, he could get malchus? You say, no, the maisa didn't increase the lav in any way whatsoever. U'chatzad hazeh nearly, he says it's more mistaken in the second way. It's very interesting how he thinks of these things. Let me say, U'chatzad hazeh nearly the lo havi maisa klal. He says it's more mistaken to me that this shouldn't be allowed yesh b'maisa in this case. Even to be over beloza, maisa in a mosiv klal. When we call Makam, he says he's not so sure. Sarach Ian, it's Mistavra. So is there any nafkamina we could make if you did this Meiser or not?
The thing is, why is it a Meiser Vera?
That's Lachara's Mistavra. He said it's not a Meiser Vera because you didn't.
Right. That's what I'm trying to. I don't see
the first side at all.
I don't see the first side. In other words, what he's already over by Matzah, so he already did the Ma'aser Avera, whatever. And I'm not saying the Ma'aser, but he already did the Avera. So,
well, I mean, he is being machasset more into his rishus. For example, I mean, if he had achrayas, let's say it was Mekabal Achrayas, was a goy's chametz, and a goy tells him, I patri from Achrayas.
Okay.
Right? So then he wouldn't be over by buying it from the goy. He's gaining the complete control of it, even though it's not increasing his lap. But I'm showing you that you are being machanish the chametz more in your rishus with this ma'isa.
But is that so? It didn't affect the Avera at this time, but it's making a potential for the Avera to exist.
What did he say? He discussed before. If you have achrayas on a goy's chametz, so let's say it's Chol Hamoed. So are you allowed to destroy it if it belongs to the goy, or do you have to return it to him? Didn't we discuss that? What do you do with the goys if you were Kona?
If you were Kona, or you took...
Now, if you weren't Kona, if you just had achrayas.
When we're talking about the Tashpisu one.
I see. So the question was, Tashpisu. The question is, because it belongs to the goy, are you allowed to
Destroy it.
Allowed to destroy it. Or do you just have to get it out of your rishus and give it back to him? I was just thinking, because if the din is you can't, because it still belongs to him, you can't destroy it, you have to give it back to him. Once you cone it from him, then you would have to, then it's yours, and you'd have to destroy it. But I don't remember. He says he spoke about it. I think if you have achrayas, what you do with it. I don't remember.
I remember the issue coming up. I don't remember
what he said. Okay. I'm not going to be able to find it. Anyway, to me it's more mitzvah the second way also. Like you said, the Maisa didn't accomplish anything, so why should that be a Maisa variable?
But your argument is that it makes it
more yours.
But that doesn't really affect Maisa Avera. It does make it more difficult to deal with it. That might be his other side. At least
doesn't say what his other side is, right?
Yeah, but that might be what he's thinking, in the sense that since you become more entrenched in this situation, which means it's more difficult for you to get out of this situation.
I'm trying to say it's more in your rishus, it's more under your control. But okay.
The second side. He says because that is that nearly. He himself thinks it's the second side. Yeah.
He says Mikol Makom Sarafin. Okay. Binei Milashin Harava Machaber Shekasav. But he gave the case of the Maisa, which is the Rambam's case. Is Kagon Shechimetz Isa. He made chametz. O Shalaka chametz. Below Kasav Kagon Shalakach O Chimetz BePesach. Well, that's what I thought he meant. Efshalomer Afilu Asa Kain could be the Chaber when he says he did a Maisa. After Lomar Afilu Asa Kain Kodan Pesach Vaya Beheter. I didn't learn that way at all. Mikol Makom Kivin the Bo Al Yadei Maisa After Haya Beheter Lokin Tahavale Lav Sheyesh Bo Maisa. I don't hear that because the Rambam says if a person has chametz in his house, it's a Lav Shein Bo Maisa.
So from the language of Chinuch, he says V'loka Kol Zman Shasa Bo Maisa Kagon. In other words, it seems to be the Zman of the Avera is when he does it. This. So the local Kol Zman Shasa Bo Maisa Kagon. As in other words, that this is done in this situation.
I agree. And also, when they say it was Nishir Babayas Kodam Pesach, it's Embo Maisa. How did it get into the house? He should say if you bought it, according to this, what do you mean Nishir Babayas? They had to get there some way. It didn't walk there.
Yeah.
So it just became chametz on its own. He either made the chametz or he bought the chametz. That's how he has it in his house before Pesach. Unless he means it could be the difference if he did it
Wait, did it? They still be his.
Yeah. So what does he mean? Since he did. The subject was by chametz. I know there's another case. The efshir the apto yahamaisa beheter havoi lav sheish v'maisa v'hachinami. See, I don't know if the Mishnah Malach was talking about the case of chametz. Well, maybe he says your lashon. Lashon Ram kan shekasav olim kana chametz b'pesach. So in other words, the Chinuch didn't say that lashon. He just says in kana chametz. But the Chinuch was following the ground. Nera davka yasa ha'maisa b'isser. How in kana chametz kodan pesach ein local. By Mishas Chametz Aleph. Yep, Shmuel Kasav Kain, Dafka the Pesach, I guess. Baby Ryan may round Perikamim Lachim Halachachesh Kasma Nechos with Mitzrayim. The person is allowed to go back to Mitzrayim, but he says if you went to Mitzrayim, not Almanas to stay there, and then while you were there, you decided to remain. Avshin Ishtakeya Sham, Ein Lokin, because the Knisa Haisa Beheter. Right? Because he went in Almanas not Lishtakeya, and he decided to Lishtakeya. The Im Yechashiv, and now once he's there, he decides to stay. He can't get Malkas Ein Bo Maisa Akanayin Sham Mavur Im Hoya Maisa Beheter Ein Nachshav Lios Maisa Achakach. The Tama La Mishlamach Mavur Lahedjav Ramam Im Maisa Hoya Beheter Ein Nachshav Lash Yesh Bo Maisa. B'nei Rabbi Mechaber lekamen b'mitzvah taf kuf v'lav d'mitrayim kosav gam ken kadas Rambam de'en loki mitam ha'Rambam. In that case, I guess we went on manas lo lishtaken decided din lishtakeh. Im ken gam ken sover gam ken v'haya ma'isa better v'hava yesh bo ma'isa. V'nearly li the kan gam ken kavanaso ken dapka b'Pesach the kitzer b'davar. So even though the chinuch didn't say b'Pesach, he means b'Pesach. I don't know why. I'm just looking at the language of the chinuch. Why does he say? I didn't think this before. He says you get malchus kozman she'osav b'ma'isa kagon shechimetz isa v'hinicha b'beiso o shalakach chametz v'hitzniyo b'beiso. Why does he have to talk about hitzniyo b'beiso? It just means he put it there, put it away. Hitzniyo is a lesson like he
hid it.
Put it, yeah, he hid it away. Why does he have to say hitzniyo? Why can't he just say lakach chametz and he has it in his house? Shlomo chimetz isa v'hinicha b'beiso means it's still in his house. He didn't get rid of it.
What's the thing? What's the actually iser the ma'isa v'hinicha b'beiso? You made chametz. Wouldn't the once you made the chametz, you'd be over bal yirah by matzah?
Well, I don't know what the chinuch sheet is. If you hold your only bal yirah by matzah, if it's in your rishus, so let's say you would make chametz in the streets or something, you wouldn't be over by yirah by your matzah. So that's what I thought he said. V'hinicha b'beiso, because he held you only over by yirah if the chametz is in your rishus. Let's say if it's in a makom hefker or something like that, could be he holds you're not over. We had sheets like that for sure. That if you get chametz out of your rishus, even the ones that hold you not kind of tashbisa would do that, but they say no, in the future you're not going to be over by your rabba your matzah. So if you make chametz in a public place or something like that,
and you wouldn't know the ingredients.
What?
You wouldn't know the ingredients.
Even if you know the ingredients.
You know, but you don't have. But it's not in your rishus.
It's not in your rishus. So what are you going to be over?
Right.
But then again, the way I'm learning, so it comes out the ma'isa was done, that ma'isa isn't really a ma'isa iser.
Right.
And then you bring it to your house, because he's saying, laka chametz, you bought it, or you chimetz isa v'hinicha b'beiso. To me, that, what does hinicha mean? He put it into his house, or he let it stay in his house? I don't know what hinicha means, but if you say hinicha means he made chametz and he put it into his house, so that would imply that he made chametz even outside of his house, right? And then he brought it into his house, and that would be called. So he did it on Pesach, but it's still hard to hear that that's the ma'isa iser, because if he would have left it out of the house, he wouldn't have been over bal yirah. It's only because he put it in Yeshiva Beisel. So it's true he did it on Pesach, but I don't know so much of that. I always thought the Rambam's case was you made chametz in your house, or you brought chametz into your house, and that was the ma'isa. But here, I don't know if it's chimetz isa v'hinicha b'eiso. Could be hinicha means he just left it there. He didn't remove it right away. I don't know what hinicha is.
It seems to be the lakach.
Lakach chametz.
But lakach, like let's say it's your chametz. Like you said before, that it doesn't have to be in your rishus, right? It's you put your chametz out there in your rishus. It's still your chametz. Then you go and take it back into your house. You don't even need a kinyan. You just so it's the actual movement of the chametz. That's the avera, and he has lakach seems to be something that shalakach seems to be. He doesn't say kana, but I
thought the Rambam's words were kana, right? That does when the Rambam
says that you're right. But I think you just read that. Yeah, he says about im kana chametz. Let's see.
He's stressing the fact the Ram said the Pesach, but the Ram uses the word kana chametz. And normally would have think, you could figure out a case of chametz and you bought it but the normal case of kana chametz, you bought it in a store and you brought it home. So there the Rambam calls it a yesh b'maisa,
But it might be what's Rambam Shita on Rishus? I mean, what's his position on that?
Yeah, because he doesn't mention kana chometz. I mean, Chinuch says laka chometz v'hitzniel b'beisa.
Right. But he just says kana chometz.
Yeah.
So maybe he has a broader definition of that Rishus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you have to see. I never thought about it, to be honest with you. I don't remember thinking about it anyway. I still don't know what the word. Why hitzniel? Why did he change it? He needs to obey. So why does it? Hitzniel implies that he hid it away. Unless he just wants to point out he doesn't want it around, so he wouldn't come to eat it, but he still put it away. But he's still over by Rabbi. But it's still strange, no?
For sure.
But certainly, when he says, but if you didn't do a ma'aseh and it was nishar b'bayis, if you're going to say a ma'aseh before Pesach, it was also called a ma'aseh. What do you mean nishar b'bayis? How did it get there? Normally, we got there through some kind of ma'aseh. It's true, it's possible we got there without a ma'aseh. Someone else brought it there, but generally, the normal state, if you have it in your house, it got there through some of, you either made it or you bought it or something like that. So I certainly think, and you had the too, so I certainly think, and Rama says the Pesach, so I don't want to think the Chinuch is going to go differently than that. I just don't remember what the case of the Mishnah Melech was.
So you can make the also. I'm just thinking of this case we were talking about Mitzrayim. You could make it like almost like a Chatzi Shiur type thing, right? Where I'm not saying this is I'm not saying this is the case, but the fact is like Chatzi Shiur is when you say Chatzi Shiur in Torah, because you have to do the Chatzi. I mean, it's Chatzi L'Sruf. So the point is that if the original Maisa was necessary to culminate, even though the original Maisa was done beheter, but you see Gilam Afreya that the original Maisa resulted in an Isser, you could, but that applies if the Isser, like I don't know Mishnah Melch, but I'm saying I can see an argument for saying that it might be that the heter, that the aspect of a mice extends to the time of the heter, when that action that took place beheter was necessary to culminate in the final mice, like the Chatzi Shiur type thing, and therefore it's mitzdaref in a certain way because of the final das. Okay, which you could argue, like I could see that from the Mitzrayim argument, but in terms of chametz, the fact is how the chametz originally got there is really irrelevant. It's like you don't really, like someone else could have brought it in. Like it didn't,
I think I'm just guessing because I didn't prepare and I didn't look at the Mishnah Melech, but what comes to my memory is that there's a lab of the Matame the Mikdash,
right.
And it says if you go into the Mikdash Torah and you become Tomei in the Mikdash, you have to leave right away.
Right.
But if you stay there, it's a lav shenbo ma'aseh, and you don't get malchus.
Okay.
I think he was talking in a case where you weren't, where you were nichnas. In other words, if you stayed there, it's a lav shenbo ma'aseh. But if your staying there was because you were nichnas, even if you were nichnas beheter, there could be that maisa of being nichnas is mistarif to the staying there, and it's called a lav sheyeshbo maisa. But I know that's what he's talking about also over there. Like it says, if you put on kalayim, it's a lav sheyeshbo maisa, and if you stam are wearing kalayim, it's called a lav sheinbo maisa. But somehow in a case where you're mitzdarf the original labisha to the wearing it, it's called, in other words, let's say you were shogeg on the putting it on, or the shogeg and going into the base of mikdash, and then you were amazed when you're wearing it, someone told you or something, or something told you when you're tummy to get out. So then do you say that you could get malchus or do you say since you were shogeg on do you call that there wasn't the mitzvah at the case I'm telling you, but still it was a shogeg on the mitzvah. Would that be called the lav sheyesh bo mitzvah? As you were amazed once you were talking in the base of the Mikdash, you were amazed once you were in the L'klayim, but you were only a shogeg when you put it on. So are you mitzdaref that, or do you that would be a lav sheyesh bo mitzvah? And because that Maisa is not a Maisa that could be Mechai. So that's similar. It's not exactly Maisa Shbeheter, but it's also the same type of svara. But during the Maisa you're not Chai for that Maisa. Or let's say you were an onus.
Right.
So it's that called. So when you're still wearing the Klayim or still being with Tam and Mikdash, it's that called a Lav Sheyesh Bo Maisa, because even though it was a Maisa Beheter, but it's still called a Maisa. So I think that's the general things what he's talking about, but I have to look it up. I don't want to start guessing.
How would they do Hasra in that case? I mean, if you're talking about Yesh Bo Maisa and you're talking about Loka, I mean, I can understand the argument about Yesh Bo Maisa, but you're talking in terms of Loka.
No, the Hasra is on the act of staying in the Mikdash, or except they could give him Hasra since this act came through a Maisa. They can tell him you're going to get malchus if you don't get out of here fast and if you don't take off the Klayim, because you're wearing these Klayim through a Maisa, right? But the Avera is just like the Bal Yirah. The Avera is not don't buy it. The Avera is having it, except having it through a Maisa, right? So there also the Avera is wearing the Klayim or being tummy in the Mekdesh, but it came through a Maisa, so they give him Hasra that this act, even though you're not doing a Maisa now, you're Chaya Malchus because it came through a Maisa. So you better get out of here. You better take off the Kalayim.
So you're doing you're saying the Hasra even before the action.
No, the Hasra is after the action.
Yeah, the Hasra is after the action.
Right. Well, that has to be according to Mishpat Lev. When Maisa was Beheter, there was no, whatever the case was.
Right.
Or in my case, but that's good Hasra.
Because there's still an Avera coming up that you could have prevented.
Yeah, if the Rama's case of Kana Chametz is went to a store and you bought Chametz and you brought it to your house, and he calls that a lav sheyesh, and that was the Pesach. I mean, right? If you call that a lav sheyesh b'meisa, one day you don't give us strong on buying it. He's not going to go he's not going into his house right away, and it's not when he goes into his house, you tell him that you're going to get malchus for this because you have this chametz through a meisa. I mean, he is mashma that he's only clearing before Pesach or after Pesach, right? But he's mashma that. But if you do the meisa on Pesach, he doesn't make stress. The meisa has to be immediate. It's mashma if you would go into a store and buy chametz and bring it to, if you hold you need it to your house and bring it into your rishus. Or he said before, he holds if you're in a rishus b'goy. He said clearly you're not over. He said a lot of shittas you're not over. So you go into a goy's house and you buy chametz for him, right? And then you bring it to your house. It's mashma. He holds it. And Pesach you'd be chayav, even though l'chor that ma'isa was beheter, but it was a ma'isa done on Pesach, or unless he doesn't mean that, maybe he means Pesach means immediately with the mice that you were over, but he doesn't make a difference. He just makes a difference if it was before Pesach or after Pesach.
Because the final conclusion is that the Avera came about through a mice. The Hasra can come after that fact.
I think so.
Makes sense because it's interesting because he's over the Avera anyways every minute he has the chametz, but it's really going back to the fact that the Maisa was beforehand.
I mean, let's say by Yirah, if you're mechametz and you get malchus for by Yirah because you did a Maisa. Right. So the Hasra had to be before you mechametz it, or someone was mechametz, and then the guy sees that this guy made chametz, and he goes over and tells him, you have chametz in your shus, there's a lot of Yirah, and you're going to get malchus because you have it because you did a Maisa. You have it through a Maisa. Or you're going to say no, but...
What about if he was a shaita when he made the chametz? And then I mean, it's just interesting how you clear this Maisa thing.
Yeah, that's what we're clearing about. What is this Maisa?
The Maisa that may not have to be included in the in the Meiser
Aveira.
Which may go back to his first place about
well, he went so far to say it could be even the Meiser before Pesach. So that he eliminated. So the Meiser before Pesach doesn't make a difference. It's not because, like he seems to be saying, as long as it was a Meiser after. So you're saying by the case of Shota, but I don't know if that's called, that was poured on Pesach. Or just that he's not responsible. But I don't know if that's the same thing like a Meiser before Pesach, which is a Meiser after completely. There's nothing wrong.
It's an issue whether Shota is it.
His Meiser or not his Meiser, but okay, but that's beside that point here. But I don't know if you call that a Meiser heter as far as this. In other words, let's say the Rambam's case. Let's say the guy was famous matzah, famous chametz. He didn't know there was anything wrong. His mama is shogeg, and then he has this chametz, and people come over and tell him, "You're not allowed to have chametz, and you made this chametz, so if you're going to keep it, you're going to be over by your That's our shaila. I don't know.
Right.
So I don't remember.
Because there's no.
It's called the Lav Sheshma Maisa.
Interesting question. But that gets back to the previous thing. The previous thing we were saying beforehand. But in fact, we had a problem with this thing about Chrayas before, right? With the thing of.
Chrayas, you're over. That was a different side. You're already over by your. What did this Maisa?
But what we're declaring was the fact that what does it have to do with the Meiser Vera?
Right.
But according to this new discussion, it doesn't necessarily have to be to do with Meiser Vera. The Meiser may not have to be the Meiser Vera. It's just the fact that it comes about through a Meiser.
Well, certainly we don't know the case of the Mishnah Malach, but certainly the Mishnah Malach was saying there's a case of Malchus of the Meiser, even if the Meiser was beheter. So he certainly must have learned that way that you don't need a Meiser Avera. You just have to see what the case of the Mishnah Malach was, because there could be it was immediate, but it's not mashma like that. It's mashma. He's saying according to Mishnah Malach for sure, if it's possible if you bought before Pesach, he'd also be chayiv. So he certainly has a tzad that even if the Meiser is heter, you get Malchus, but they're arguing with the Mishnah Malach on that. But I'm just thinking that even if you don't hold like the Mishnah Malach before Pesach, but he's saying as long as you did the Meiser on Pesach, but is that because the Meiser on Pesach is, and you're learning that maybe even if it's not the Meiser Ver itself, but it's like a Chatzi Shiur, it's Chatzi Listeruki or something like that. And then it would be Nogay if it was a Shota or a Shogeg or something,
He's actually saying the Mishnah Malach was subject about this, or is he?
No, he said the Mishnah Malach said you're chayiv even. And
he says that the Mishnah Malach has. See, we're making clear. I mean, you're clearing differences in the Meiser B'dam Beheter.
Oh, he says Mesupik. You're right. Mesupik was the after the apple yeah Meiser Beheter. Havle Lav Sheish Bo Meiser.
So it might be that you're saying that by the Beis Mikdash case, but it may not apply to the Chum. I mean.
You have to go through each lab. You have to go through.
Right. In that distinction, I'm just wondering if the Mishnah Malach actually, when he says
look up the Mishnah Malach. If it was a class, it wouldn't take the time. I'm just learning with you. I'm not getting straight.
Trying to find something in Mishnah Malach is. It's over there.
Gimel, halacha.
Halacha chafal.
Period Gimel. Echad tamei shenechlas lemikdash tohor. Otor shenechlas lemikdash yesh bo tuma. Kiyon shoy yameis tanchas ol b'mikdash v'nechlas hu tanchas ol. Havis achayev kares shori b'yasav tumaso boin ke'achas. Nechlas lemikdash. He went into the mikdash v'nitmet sham achar shenechlas hafilu timei atzmo shanamezid. Yemarav Yaval v'yetzay b'derech chitzara. So he goes out immediately the shortest possible way. And okay. But also lishos lishtachvos latzais Derech Harucha. He has to go out there as soon as possible and not take the long way. Because he went Derech Harucha. So he didn't waste time, but he went out. But he Chayiv Karas. Imaya Shogeg maybe Korban. Hechzer Panav Hishtakvav Derech Hatziyasa Klapi Chutz Pater. Ela Im Kain Shoah Kashir. Okay, so then he goes into the derech roots. So his case, let's see what the Mishnah's case is of the derech, of the Maisa derech heter. See how big the Mishnah is? In small print, I don't see it.
That's what I said before, trying to find a Mishnah Mel, usually.
So I don't see where he's speaking about the... See that I got to the part where it's going to be no gay. You understand what I did? You know, he speaks about the Shiur there in the case of Kalayim and Marcus.
Okay.
So 1 second. It's only when the Tchilas Maisa was Be'isr, going with Ishas Kalayim, Minchas Chinuch Mikdash, Betime Atzlo B'Shogeg, Tchilas Isr, Hayli Maisa Shalisr. V'hem Misha Yatame B'Nichos Mikdash B'Shogeg, V'achar Kach Hisr B'Loka. Because the Tchilas Maisa was Ayidei Knisa, even though it was B'Shogeg, but it was Ayidei and Isr.
So some of the Chazi Yisruf, I think, it's in the Maisa and then the Maisa of Vera.
Right. But he says, but if he says he went in the heter and then someone was matame him, so he didn't do a Maisa becoming Tamid, he didn't do any Maisa at all. He says he can't get Malchus even on the Shiur because he misham laknisa, hari behetor yisasha Torah. The ad kan lo aminam the cautious chilas apula lo haisayini Maisa after the soap like a Maisa, like the normal case he went in the Shogeg. He says the Maisa, the chasha Maisa, hanekesh chilas apula haisa beser. Okay, shaisa beheter ain't it's tarata seems sofa like the chashila Maisa. Kachra nearly misfara. Achar you're nearer the halasa. Chara the Ravashi boy time atzel amazed mao. But onus kamiri shaya mashma de la malchus betumas onus lucias mezid pshitale the lucky. I don't know the Gemara well enough, but he's saying it's mashma of the Gemara that if he went in and he became tamei ba'onis and he stayed there after he became tamei, but now he knows he's tamei, he says it's mashma of the Gemara that you're going to get malchus. Why would he get malchus? He went in okay, and so on was matamim, so that the knisa was beheter. Close Pirish Rashi Sham. That's one right. Basu the eat of by the Ravashi, the Nazir bekever betumas onus Mary, and he didn't go out. And he said Bukhara there, he wasn't. There was no knisa. What was it? He said the chitem hasan chashan ma'isa masha nechlas lekever b'hoya beser alasa. So the case is talking about that he went in b'sheda teva mikdalah. You have to know the Gemara. So he says the knisa wasn't beser. Then he became tamei ba'onis, and he didn't. And he was amazed and not leaving. He says the Gemara is mashma also. You get malchus even though the knisa was beheter because he went into the basic chloris b'sheda teva mikdalah. So he's not much talking about a ma'isa heter completely. I mean, I don't know how other people do with his rayas, but he says that's his rayas. That's what he's talking about.
Well, how would it ever be in Bo Maisa? You have to show up there anyway. So.
What?
Yeah, how would it ever be in Bo Maisa? You have to get there. You're saying he said it was onus after he became tamei after he was already in the place, right?
Right.
Or was he?
Someone was matamim. He was an onus on becoming tuma, and then he stayed there with Mason.
But he was when he walked in. He was tahor when he walked in.
Yeah, and he didn't the walk-in didn't make him tamei because he was with Shayla Teva and Migdal, and so the knisa didn't do anything. Somehow maybe they opened it up and he became tamei ba'onis, and he stayed after or whatever. And he says that where's mashma you're going to get malchus. That's going to be lav sheyesh bo. Nice. It could be they don't like his diuk in the Gemara, but that's what he's saying. So he learned he was mamash. He's learning was mamash and Maisa. He started off by saying it's a staver that's not a mice. But then I say, but if you want after he and you look in the Gemara, you see that's right. He says all those Gemaras say Malchus to say that those Gemaras are going only according to the Mandemar Lav Shem of Maisa Lokan Love, right? Yeah. Or the Gemara means this in Malchus and not Malchus. He says that's the. According to Tosas, Akosh Atchilas Adavar Haya Ayle Maisa, Afsha Haya Beheter, Chashav Ke Maisa.
Wouldn't any case be? But with a Maisa, how did you get into the place there in the first place?
So what's the problem with any case? So you get Malchus. So what do you mean?
So why would it be a case of Shembo Maisa?
So he's saying it's not a Lav Shem Maisa. So
he's saying that across the board, be it Mikdash, this
Mikdash would be always what's considered the Knisa Veheter would be considered a Maisa if you show it, yeah.
And therefore, it's not a Lav Shembo Maisa.
Right.
It's simply not a Lav Shembo Maisa. Because you always.
I don't know the way he quotes Tosas. I went to learn. Maybe this is what they argue on because he says Tosas says that the Gemara is talking. That Tosas says that the Gemara is talking about that he went in Beheter, right? And Tosas' language is that he says the reason it's a Maisa, the Masha Eino Yotze Misham. In other words, the Shia is considered the Maisa. So some people, I think, now trying to come back to me, some people learn the actual keep on wearing something is considered a Maisa of wearing, or if you're Mustarif, like the Mishnah Malach learning, you Mustarif the Maisa Heter, because the point over there is the Shehiyah is considered an extension of the Maisa Heter. With stam buying chametz, you're not doing anything whatsoever. It's in your house.
Right.
It wouldn't be considered an extension of the ma'is. It's not something. The tziruf is that you're going in and you're staying in. The staying in is like the completion of the going in. So staying in is considered, even though the mice of going in was a mice of heter.
I'm trying to remember.
Tosfos says that's Tosfos' language over there. The Shia is the mice.
Right.
So either it means literally Shia is considered a mice, keeping and wearing kalayim, or keeping staying in there is considered a mice.
But the thing of wearing shatnez, in the question if you're wearing shatnez, you have to take it off. In the question of sneas and stuff like that. That's because the fact is there's a whole issue there with a love or an essay and stuff like that. But the question is whether it's a love or whether it's the fact of a mice. But then the Shia over there is
that's the shadow over there. Some people learn the Shia is
the mice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could be that's what Tosfos means, or it could be Tosfos means even if you say the Mishnah Malach was a Maisa Heter, but it's a sirif of the Shia with the thing, but it's not stam a Maisa Heter. That's
why I was interested in knowing when he said over here that the Mishnah Malach, he says Mesupik Bazah, does he actually say he's Mesupik on this issue or Mesupik on other issues?
So I didn't see a suffix yet. First he said Mistavra, it's not a Maisa. Then we're saying now he has Rayas, but it is a Maisa. I don't know if that's what he's calling Mesupik or later on. It's a big thing over here.
Right, but it's not. But he's not necessarily Mesupik on. He's Mesupik on this issue of the Maisa being done by Heter, but it's not necessarily Mesupik on the issue of chametz. That's like the way it comes across, the way he seems to.
This is language. Apagav de'ena osa Maisa masha enu yotzei, kiven shabiya hoysay de Maisa, af masha enu yotzei chashav k'Maisa.
Okay, but still connected.
It's still connected. It's still connected.
Right. Right.
Can you see if he says he's Mesupik, what if he says clearly the case is so?
He's Mesupik in some issue, but the mitzvah is obviously taking it and applying it to this case, and we're seeing distinctions in the case.
So I can't go through the whole thing and see if he has another statement, but that's the case.
Are you davening Mariv here?
No, the truth is, but I want to go to 9:30.
Yeah.
I want to go back to when I daven Mariv in the show.